this is a tutorial on the specific Excel function for how I generated the age of a student. I'm just going to break it down one by one. And so I'm going to basically just start with the main part of the Excel function, which is date diff, short for date difference. And what we're going to do is I'm just going to give you like kind of a sample of how to do date difference. And so date difference starts by hitting equal sign and writing date diff, and then you open the parentheses. Date diff has three different parameters, and so the first parameter is always the earlier date. So we're going to click on the student's date of birth. We're going to hit comma, and so let's say we tested this student on 6/6/2015. We would just click here for the second date, and so you'll see that in date diff it's the second parameter minus the first parameter. I'm going to hit comma. And in quotation marks, we're going to write the year. If we want the month, we would do YM. If we want the days, we would do MD. And then we would close the quotation marks, close the parentheses, and hit enter. Now we have 10 years. We're going to do that one more time. Date diff, open parentheses, get the date of birth, date tested, in parentheses. In quotation marks, YM, close the quotation marks, close the parentheses, and hit enter. We can do that for the days. Date of birth, date tested, in quotation marks, MD, close the quotation marks, close the parentheses, and hit enter. Okay, so now we have this information. This works great as an age calculator for testing, but I actually tweaked this formula a little bit in order to find their age on any given day. And so in order to find their actual age today, what I would need to do is go into this formula and switch this later day with the Excel function of today, open parentheses, close parentheses. The Excel function today, if I write equal sign today, open parentheses, close parentheses, hit enter, it will always give you the day of the current day. And so I'm going to basically just change these two, and so the second parameter is the one you need to change because that's the later date. So you write today, open parentheses, close parentheses. Okay. I didn't even bother to include the days, so I'm just going to delete that. Now we have the student's actual age, so 10 years, 6 months. And then the next thing we want to do is add text. So that's not just saying 10 and 6, but it says 10 years. How do we do that? We hit equal sign, and in quotation marks, you write your text, right? Years, and you write months. Keep in mind that if you didn't write it in quotation marks, you just wrote years, it wouldn't work. So it has to be in quotation marks. And so let's put this all together. We're going to write equals date diff, open parentheses, we're going to write the date of birth, comma, today, open parentheses, close parentheses, and then we're going to hit in quotation marks Y, and then we're going to close the parentheses. How do you connect different formulas? You have to write the and symbol, and then it kind of is, the and symbol is almost the equivalent of starting right back here after the equal sign. And so now you do the quotation marks. We're going to put a space because it's not just 10 years, you have to put 10 space years. Okay, so, and then put another space, and then we're going to write the and symbol again. This is the new Excel function, which is another date diff to find the month. And you click on date of birth, you click on today, open parentheses, close parentheses, and in quotation marks, we're going to write YM, close parentheses, and we're going to write and in quotation marks, we're going to write months. Notice how I spaced it out. And now, once I hit enter, what it should say is 10 years and 6 months. I'm going to hit enter. There it is. Let's say the student's date of birth was August 4th, 2005. It'll show 10 years, 1 month, plural, and we don't want that, we want month. And so there's an Excel function for that. And this is the last Excel function, and then we will have the full Excel function, just like it is. And so basically, what we're going to do is we're going to make an if statement. If it equals 1, write month. If it doesn't, write months, plural. And so what we're going to do in here is write an if statement. If, and then here's the logical test. That's the first parameter of the if statement. We're just going to copy this, right? Actually, we have to start with date diffs. Sorry about that. Copy it from there. Hit Control C. So if this, go in and hit Control V. If this equals 1, comma, the value, if true, is going to be month, comma, the value, if false, is going to be months, plural. And then I'm going to close the parentheses and hit enter. And there you go. It works. 10 years, 1 month. If we were to change this to any other month, let's say 5, it would be 10 years, 4 months. Now notice how there's not a space here, so there's one other thing I need to do, which is just add a space to months, and now it'll come out 10 years, 4 months. I realized that I went a little bit quickly through the if statements, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to break down what an if statement is, and then I will apply it right back to this formula. And so let's do a more basic if statement. Let's write a 5 in this cell, and I'm going to write equals if, open parentheses, this cell equals 5, the value of true, let's say, is, we're going to write yes, the value of false, we're going to write in quotation marks, no. And then we're going to close the parentheses and hit enter. So notice how it says 5 here, it says yes. If I wrote 6, it would show no. So let's break this down. If I double click in here, the if statement has 3 different parameters. It's the logical test, and so this is our logical test, h9 equals 5. And then the second parameter is the value of true. And so basically, if this logical test is true, it's going to show this. If the logical test is false, it's going to show this. So let's go back to this Excel function. And we have an if statement here. If, and then here is our logical test, this, which is basically just generating the month, equals 1, which in this case it does not, it equals 4, then it's going to show the value if false. But if it did equal 1, then it would show the value of true, which is month singular. And that's how I got this last part of the Excel function. Thanks for watching.